What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to Crypto Empire, where we dominate the crypto market. My name is Connor. This is a Sunday live stream today, so we have a jam-packed live stream and a lot in store because the end of the month is coming up, and of course, it's Sunday. It's the end of the week, so we have to prep for the week ahead. Let's get right into it and start out with our crypto market overview. So shout out to James Brasco, first person in the live chat today. What's going on, James? But looking at the market right now, Bitcoin is still holding strong. We're seeing $118,436, and Ethereum is above 3,800. Solana also still holding above 185 bucks. So it's currently Sunday morning, and we have all day long until the weekly candle close, and then we have the monthly close just a few days away. So I'm going to go through my charts like I always do, and I'm going to share with you how I plan on going ahead and partaking in this upcoming week. All right, but looking at the crypto bubbles top 100, we have mostly green, although a bit of red today. As you can see, some coins are up. Pump Fund finally having a green day after just going down only from its launch. And a few decent gainers. We can see Bitcoin Cash continuing to push higher. Really not a crazy day in terms of volatility in the market, but there is some movement, although not too much. So let's hop into these charts right now, and let's go over what we are looking at and where we are currently at. So here is the crypto total market cap, and we are in uncharted waters. We are in price discovery all-time highs. This has never been this high before. The monthly candle is going to be closing in 4 days, right? It's July 27th currently. And this is the monthly chart for the total. So the total on the monthly is obviously pretty bullish, okay? Also looking at the weekly right now is, if it closes as it is currently, it will be a bit of a doji indecision candle with a sweep of the high, although it won't really give us too much indication. The main thing I think is going to be the monthly candle close that is coming in soon. And closing like this is pretty bullish in my opinion, okay? We have our levels lower in case things do turn and we get a pullback. But as of right now, with the total market cap as it is, it does look like momentum appears to be to the upside. Now, on stablecoin dominance, we're at a bit of a critical juncture. We are at a bit of a critical juncture. So this is our weekly candle. First, I want to go to the 9-day time frame. You might be asking, why the 9-day? Well, because on the 9-day, we had this breaker block, right? We had this breaker block. And as we can see, the 9-day candle literally just closed today, all right? We have a fresh 9-day that just opened up on Sunday right now, a few hours ago. So this 9-day candle has closed beneath the breaker block, which leads me to believe we are going to see a move into our 3-day demand zone. If this were to close above the breaker block, I would say that we have to be very careful that USDT dominance wants to go higher, back up to 4.5%. I'm just taking it at face value. I'm just looking at the chart and telling you what I see, okay? So on the 9-day time frame, again, if we were to close above 4.36, I would say we have to be careful because this probably wants to go up. But because this 9-day candle just closed below the breaker, my expectation is clear. I think we go to 4% inside of our 3-day demand zone. Now, with that being said, all the best entries happened earlier in the week. And we shared many coins in demand zones, breaker blocks, and they're all up from those levels, right? All the best entries came on like Thursday and any time this week, basically, whenever prices were in their breaker blocks. But as you can see, USDT dominance did spike on Friday up to 4.41%, and it came back down into this range it's in. So anyways, the best time to buy things, if we're going to push lower here, which I think we will, was earlier in the week. Let me make that clear as I go through my live stream. That means don't get FOMO, basically. All right, if you want to open up a bunch of trades or something right now, it's really not a smart idea earlier in the week when things were at their predetermined zones, it would have been a very smart idea, obviously, okay? But don't FOMO now is the message that I want to get to everyone out there watching this live stream, okay? Just because I'm bullish and I think this is USDT dominance is going to 4% does not mean to max long everything that's on your watch list. Anyways, that's my bias here on USDT dominance. Look, I want to give both perspectives, and one thing that I'm aware of is the RSI. Now, on the daily time frame, this RSI did hit 25. And the previous times it has come, this low towards 25, it was in May over here. And that kind of led to a bit of a swing up higher. Right, this was around the time of the Bitcoin conference curse. Also, the last time it was down at 25 over here was in November, December of 2024. And then the time before that was March 2024. So USDT dominance is oversold, and it's only been this oversold 3 other times this cycle. Most notably, it's been this oversold at both peaks of the market cycle we've seen. That's March 2024 when we had the AI coin boom in early 2024, right? The Bitcoin halving pump, if you call it that. And the last time it was this oversold, we're looking at the RSI down here at the bottom of the screen, was the top in December. So I'm aware of that, okay? Which is why I'm saying, like, all right, there is the potential that this is forming a bit of a bottom looking at this RSI. So that's, again, why I'm giving you some type of warning of, like, not to FOMO. If you're positioned from the breaker blocks, the demand zones from earlier in the week, perfect. If you're not right now, observe, basically. Observe. Because, yes, I do think this will come to 4% and fill this 3-day demand zone. But there is the potential that because the RSI is so oversold, it's only been this oversold at the top of the market every time this cycle. We might see this swing down, then up. Maybe I'm completely wrong and we swing up, then down. All I know is we're at a critical juncture right now. My bias is we go to 4%, but I'm aware of the other scenarios, and I take everything at face value, and I trust the chart, not what anybody else is saying out there. And this is something very interesting that I've observed here in the chart. So anyways, that is USDT dominance. That 9-day candle is giving me my bias that this wants to go lower right now towards 4%. We will see how we get on to start our week up. All right. Moving on along now. Worth mentioning here, BTC dominance. And we're still having the demand zone down here at 60% hold. Okay, so we'll see how we go. Ideally, in an ideal world, we see this continue to break down. All right. We'll see how we go. We never filled the 4-day partial. So keep that in mind, lads. We front ran that 4-day partial. We might hit, we might not. All in all, Bitcoin dominance still looks like it wants to continue down lower. Even if it does retrace back up, the idea is it still continues down lower. Now let's take a look at Bitcoin here. All right, because Bitcoin is really there's a few altcoins that are doing well. There are a few altcoins that are doing well, but Bitcoin right now is holding this range. All right, we are in a very tight consolidation. Now, I'm sure you guys remember the live stream we did over here. What was it, like Thursday night, Friday? When we hit that daily fair value gap. We were live. We were live looking at the chart when price was hitting the fair value gap, and we were calling for a bottom when we were live. As we can see now, right, that did result in a nice move. About a $4,000 pump on Bitcoin, just a few percent at this point because the asset is so highly valued, but still a $4,000 swing, and that daily fair value gap provided a nice bounce. Now for BTC, looking at the liquidations, right, it's still all the way up here. Most of them are at $120,000 on BTC. And that is just so close. That's just a stone's throw away. Let's just make sure we have the most up-to-date data here. Yeah, it's all still at $120,000. It's like $1 billion of liquidations up there at 120K. And we are $1,700 away from 120K. So at this moment in time, right, we can certainly look for Bitcoin to push to 120,000 and likely take out all those liquidations. Now, we'll have to find out if we're going to break this and push into a new high after we take those liquidations. Ideally, because they have to liquidate, that means they have to buy on the open market all the shorts, and that's going to short squeeze everything up way more. All right, but this is obviously very big resistance up here at 123K. Essentially, from here, we're looking for 120,000. And in an ideal world, we break out or we stay range bound with Bitcoin dominance continuing to drop and altcoins pump. All right, if we start to show signs of weakness, of course, I will let you know. The first sign of weakness, in my opinion, would be daily candle closes beneath $116,600. If we close a daily below the range we have, which we have not done yet, then we have to take that sign of weakness at face value and understand that we might have to shift. But as of right now, we're looking for a pump to 120, which isn't that far away, and a test of the all-time high. Will we break it at this point? Hard to say. We don't even have to break it. If we stay range bound with Bitcoin dominance dropping, that would be a great thing as well. Keep on moving along here to ETH. And by the way, real quick, just the weekly candle on Bitcoin. Weekly candle is currently a doji. Really not saying much. We're in a consolidation range. That's all that's going on right now on BTC. Taking a look now at Ethereum, the weekly candle is a little bit different. We have a long tail going down below, and it got bought back up from $3,500 earlier in the week. All right, so ETH is looking pretty good, if I do say so myself. Now, again, looking at USDT dominance, which we just did for everyone tuning into the live stream right now, we were just looking at USDT dominance with extensive analysis, looking at it. But the idea is to see that go down to 4% so that we can see Ethereum pump up here to $4,000. Again, $4,000 is the high of this current cycle. ETH has not been able to get above $4,100. All right, we haven't even tested it on this rally yet. As you can see, we've gone essentially straight up from 2,500 here to 3,800 where we're at. And we're still shy of 4,000. So again, USDT dominance to 4% should line up nicely with ETH hitting 4,000. And then we'll plan for the next moves there. But this is the move we're looking for currently, all right? So we're not going to be talking 3 moves ahead here. Let's just focus on what's in front of us right now. And what's in front of us right now is ETH to 4,000 with a move on USDT dominance down to 4%. All right, so looking at the daily time frame here, let me get the Monday range off just to clean this up. So, I mean, the levels are the same on ETH, right? The level, if we were to get a pullback, is the same. It's still 3,300 to 3,250. And the level above is still 4,000. All right, so as of right now, we're just in this consolidation range. And I wouldn't personally do anything here on ETH. All right. I would wait for one of these to give. Something's got to give right now. Same as Bitcoin. Something's got to give. All right, so the best trade right now, in my opinion, is no trade. Unless you're already long from earlier in the week. You just hold those positions, right? Because the entry is lower. You don't want to lose that entry. For example, what are some of those breaker blocks we talked about, right? Dogecoin here, 22.5 cents, positive reaction now. So we can see that we are basically just on Doge, price is just struggling to get above. We put a box on the screen. Price is just struggling to get above like 24 cents. And it has to reclaim that if this is going to go trade higher. All right, so resistance is working right now on many of these alts after hitting their breakers earlier, right? The 10-hour here. I'll show you in the 10-hour. I've showed this before, right? Just a picture perfect breaker. Working very well. Now, if Doge is going to push higher, it must get above our red box at 24.5 cents. So let's watch for that to start the week. If we start to show weakness here, by the way, if you're in the longs, right? If you took the long from down here, your stop's at break even, okay? You don't take a loss. Price comes down, you get out. But if we end up breaking resistance, you have that entry still. That's why I'm saying the best move is like no move right now. Okay, the entry is, there's no entry right now in my opinion. Maybe if you're bearish, you want to short the red box because you think price is going to go down. Okay, but that's if you're bearish. But again, I think the best move is no move currently unless you're already in something from a solid entry point. If you have a wishy-washy entry, it's really not a comfortable place to be at all right now. All right, but that's Doge. Quick look at Solana. And for Solana, we'll see, right? We had a bit of a, like the weekly candle right now is a long tail wick up. And I really don't like this weekly candle right now. I don't like how it's currently below our support resistance flip at 184. Okay, just look to the left here. This is a really, really important and big support resistance flip level. 184, 185. Okay, when we're above, when SOL is above this price, the asset is very expensive. All right, we're in like all-time high territory above $185 on SOL, and that can just be seen looking on the chart. Look at anything that's happened above 185. It spends a very little amount of time up there, and it crashes hard. Now, at this point, we're right at that 185 level, and the price cannot get above it. So this weekly candle is telling us a story. It's not going to close for like another 12 hours or so later on in the evening today. But with the weekly candle like this, it doesn't look amazing. So we have some mixed signals, right? ETH looks decent. Bitcoin looks decent. Solana kind of looks bearish with a weekly candle like this. Moving to supply, week close. Let me tell you this. If we were to pull back, what is the level, in my opinion, that you should wait for? Let's just make it extremely simple. Because again, from right here, I don't think there's a move to be made from right here. Right? Maybe you bought the pullback earlier at 175. If that's the case, you have a stop at 175 at your entry. But if we were to pull back, what's the level to wait for? It's that golden pocket, man. It's the golden pocket. $155. Right, I have 156 down to 154 here for a golden pocket from this move from the June lows up here to the July current highs. So again, week, this is a bit of a play on words. So week, W-E-A-K, sorry, weekly candle, right? So a weekly, sorry for the pun or the play on words, but that's just how it is. And if we pull back by 154, that's it. But no move to be made right now. Let's keep moving along, lads, here. LTC. So, again, right? Like, Litecoin, we were just looking at Solana. It's been, like, unable to get above its support resistance flip. Something like Litecoin is different, where it's showing a lot of strength. And it's above its big support resistance flip level. So on LTC, just look to the left. What's really rock solid support or resistance, or what's been really strong resistance? Did you say $103? Well, if you did, you're correct. Okay, so Litecoin, in my opinion, the level to wait for. Look, this asset is much stronger than Solana, which we just looked at. Okay, the chart's very different. So we're going to treat it differently, all right? We're going to treat this one differently because it is different than Solana. This is a more bullish posture. It's a more bullish chart. So because we have a rock-solid support resistance flip at 103, I would say we should look for a move down to 103 again, all right? Maybe it wicks if we get some capitulation, something like that, down to like 95 or so. But the level for Litecoin to hold and the level to look to bid it would be $103 down to around 90, down to 90, which is these lows over here, the bottom of this demand zone we have. All right, so anywhere, let's make it very simple for everyone watching. Nothing complicated here on the channel, guys. I know I've had many people tell me if they're brand new to crypto, they can be intimidated by me because I'm not beginner friendly because I know so much and I don't explain things or whatever. That's the feedback people have given me. But I'm going to make it really simple for you all today. All right. If we pull back into 103 to 90, look to bid. Solana at 155, look to bid. Earlier in the week, this didn't really pull back to, it pulled back to the highs at 106, but you know, the chart right now on the weekly looks like it wants to continue to rally. So we're going to treat it differently than some of these other weaker assets. Anyways, that is that on LTC. Let's go to Algorand, talking about another one that we spoke about a lot. We were, of course, you know, we were live when the price was down in our 13-day breaker block level, right over here. As we can see, price wicked into this level, and it had a positive reaction. Here's the daily time frame, how it looks like. Okay, we just use those odd time frames to find the exact level. As you can see here in the daily time frame, we can still see what's going on. But anyways, price peaked at 33 cents. It pulled back last week or this week with a Thursday low down at 24.8 cents. The move out of it, right? The move out of it from the low to current price is 12%. It did go as high as 16% earlier in the day. So, I mean, that's a really good reaction in a few days' time. A 12% move. Like, that is, as a trader, that's an amazing trade. So what do you do now, right? If you didn't long down here, you do nothing, in my opinion. If you did, you move the stop to break even, you take profit, and you let the market do what it has to do. We do have a lower level. We have a 7-day level here as well on Algorand towards 20 cents. All right, so if whatever reason we end up having a bearish start to August, we know a level we would like to buy lower. And all in all as well, let me see, I'm pretty sure I marked this. Yes, I did. Okay, so there's a daily partial as well at 2024. So this would be priority, actually. Remember, Algorand is an ISO coin. It's like a Trump coin at this point. It's probably going to be included in the Trump basket of altcoins ETF thing. So it's going to be different from the boring, stale price action that this thing has had for years. Okay, it's a different timeline now, different thesis with Algorand. So anyways, a 1 day at 24 and then a 7-day lower at 20. I would say the 1 day takes priority at 24 cents if we were to see that. But again, the move right now is do nothing because the entry was given on Thursday. If you didn't act, don't act now because we're in the middle of a range where price can go literally either way. It can go up or down, yes. That meme, oh, will it go up or will it go down? You're saying it can go up or down. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. All right, earlier, if you were watching on Thursday, we were saying like this is the level to buy. Now, it doesn't make sense to buy. All right, so I hope that's all clear, guys. You know, we come and we try to give you guys the levels. So when we're outside of a level, it's the best move is nothing. Another one would be Magic, right? From the 2-day level. We waited, 2 weeks for this one to come in. We finally got it when? On Thursday. Friday as well, it was down here in the level. But, you know, this resulted in a 10% move from the low to the high. But as of right now, again, stop loss should be here, break even. And you do nothing if you're long. Because this may break out from here. If it fails, well, at least you tried. You won't lose any money. That's the game. Don't lose money. The most important rule in trading and investing. Don't lose money. How do you do that? Move the stop to break even after you took an ideal entry in an ideal zone. I'm going to be preaching this nonstop going forward, guys. Right? Ideal entries only in ideal zones. If you do that, you will be successful. So if you guys like that, be sure to stick around to the channel. Smash that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. And, of course, like the live stream as well. Anyways, I'm pretty sure you guys get the gist of where my head is at in terms of the market right now. Right? So being that it is a Sunday right now, I do want to look at a few of your guys' altcoin requests, because on Sunday we have our community live stream where I will take the time to look at the most obscure random shitcoins that nobody's ever heard of before that you guys ask me about here in the live chat. During the week, we run a strict program here on our live streams where we won't interrupt the show looking at those coins. But because it's Sunday, we'll look at some of that. All right. Anyways, some news first before we get into those. So again, the mass marketing campaign by literally exact words from my mouth. Somebody please go find that clip from a live stream. I don't know if it was weeks or months ago, but I was saying how because of everything that's happened in crypto with Pump Fund and all the scammers, whatever, Trump scamming, the Libra Argentina president scamming. Shout out to Elvis. We'll look at that super chat in a second. But thank you for the super chat, by the way. But back to what I'm saying right now. The trust got destroyed in crypto. So what are the powers that be going to do? They're going to rebuild that trust. How? With a massive marketing campaign. And BlackRock is the word or the entity that I said that is probably going to launch it. Well, here's the news that happened just a few days ago on the 25th. So SBET, Sharplink Gaming, which is the new treasury company for Ethereum, has hired Joseph Chalom, who he is the previous leader of the digital asset strategy at BlackRock that brought the IBIT ETF to life, okay, and the BITL fund, which is the RWA fund on Ethereum. So Joseph laid the groundwork for institutional adoption of crypto at scale, and he's now basically a part of Ethereum through SBET. So talk about getting people to trust Ethereum again, or trust crypto again, after the trust has been completely destroyed earlier in the year. It's almost like we predicted this one exactly. We didn't know what form it was going to come in, what shape it was going to come in, but we knew it was going to be something. And the massive marketing campaign continues, right? We have Pengu opening the NASDAQ bell, Pengu pumping multiple hundreds of %. Now we have the ex-BlackRock really important guy coming over to Ethereum in Sharplink Gaming. So interesting news here, and it does point towards the fact that they want people to trust altcoins again, basically, after the events that have occurred in the past year. One more piece of news before we get to Elvis's super chat is Trump is considering rebate checks for low-income Americans. So more stimulus, basically. And this person says, make inflation great again. Basically, yeah, print more money. Print more money. Also worth noting, we have FOMC this Wednesday. FOMC on Wednesday, guys. Federal interest rate coming in. Expected to be unchanged. Is Powell going to get fired? We'll find out. Let's see. We got Elvis. He says, are you bullish on TAI TARS? So TARS, my stance really hasn't changed. Okay, I still think this is like a very heavy cabal coin. And what occurred on TARS was they pumped this thing in April and May when the market largely was not moving this hard. Okay. And then basically it formed, this is a massive distribution, what occurred here. Now, at this point in time, is this in a reaccumulation, basically? That's what we have to ask ourselves, okay? But the question, am I bullish on TARS? I think it's another AI coin that will probably do decently well when AI coins pump. I don't think this thing is going to be like the showstopper coin that everyone's like, oh my God, I wish I bought TARS. I don't think it's going to be at that level, but I think it will do decent if AI coins have a good rally again, which I think they will. Okay, but this is definitely like not at the top of my priority list with AI coins. Anyways, that's my question on if I'm still bullish. Now, in regards to the chart, I mean, this is our third test of these levels down here below 7 cents. We do have untapped demand lower. We have untapped demand lower at 5.5 cents to 4.7. So, yeah, I mean, it would be a really attractive entry down here in this lower demand zone, because that would just be like, you sweep the lows from June, you sweep the lows from May, you come into demand, everyone who's long gets stops out, and then you pump out of demand. That would be something if we got it. From right here, I mean, we're sitting directly on support. Daily candles are not really giving us too much information right now. So in general, I would say down here at 5.5 cents would be the most attractive entry. But I wouldn't really, again, I wouldn't put this at the top of my priority list for AI altcoins. Shout out to Crypto Mike. Big shout out to guys. By the way, smash up the like button if you're enjoying the live stream so far. Appreciate all the support here. Manufacturing Contempt. What's going on, brother? We got B Marquis. What up, B Marquis? And Glaucus SR5. What's up, Glaucus? He says, new to futures. Should I be concerned if the ADL is all red? I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that. Some clarification would be good. It might be some miscommunication or something. Crypto Mike, what up, Crypto Mike? We got the Green Hornet and Fiat Hater. What's up? Fiat Hater says smash the like button. We have Matt 1. We have Adrian Kent with the 2 thumbs up. Rosie, what's up, Rosie? Semi says bet on a correction first, at least in a few weeks. So yes, the 2 possibilities, right? So the correction scenario is there for sure, right? Are the bears going to win again? Again, USDT dominance is heavily oversold, or was heavily oversold here this past week, hitting 25 on the RSI. The only other times it hit this low on the RSI has been periods of a top in the crypto market, most notably March 2024 and December 2024. It also came this low over here in May, which resulted in the Bitcoin conference curse taking effect. And that the low was put in late June with Israel and the U.S. Iran conflict that happened. And all that ended with the big bombing or whatever in Iran by the U.S. Air Force. But anyways, yeah, I mean, there's reasons to be like cautious with this so oversold on USDT dominance, which is why I'm saying if you're not in from anything earlier in the week, it's not the time to open fresh trades, because this very well might head back up, to like 4 or 5 or something. But that's why we have to manage our risk well and take what the market gives us. Anyway, James says Zora doesn't stop. I keep waiting to buy. What is Zora? Ayo. Let me see this. Negative funding. This is like a SPK basically, it looks like. Yeah, look at the funding rate. They're paying people to long. What this means. So funding rate negative 2.6%. That means if you have a $10,000 position, whenever they're paying out the funding rate, sometimes they'll change it, okay? Sometimes it can be as frequent as like every 2 hours. They'll pay you 2.7% on your position if you're long. That means you have a 10K position open. They're paying you like $270 like every few hours. That's what the funding rate is. This tells us most people are short, right? Everyone's trying to short the rally, hence the negative funding rate. So yeah, if you're long on this thing, they're paying people to be long, and the shorts are paying the longs. Most people are short. So this thing is just absolutely ripping shorts a new one. Now, buying it here is ill-advised, to say the least. Damn. This one just went live in April 2025. Okay, so I was saying this in the Crypto Empire Mastermind live stream the other day, but basically the coins, like if you want to see 1,000% movers, right? This is a 1,000% mover in a period of 2 weeks, 15 days. It's really like only going to be on the new coins. Look at SPK as well, right? That we actually caught this trade inside of the Mastermind, right? We literally longed it at 3.2 cents down here. And, you know, this only went up 470%. Zora is up 1,000% in two. So this one's even crazier. But these are all newly launched coins. And these are like legit projects as well. Like Zora, I see launched on Base over here. I don't even know what this thing is, but I mean, high market cap. Let's take a look. Zora. Yeah, it's like a big base coin. So all the big gainers are always going to be from the brand new coins, or the ones that launched a few months ago and have went through a long bottoming out reaccumulation. Like, let's just look at what happened here on Zora. This went through the classic accumulation lake that we talk about here all the time on the channel. We have the low over here. Price breaks the low, spends a long time accumulating, and then we have a crazy parabolic pump. This is the schematic. This is the pattern. I call it the accumulation lake. But every time you see a parabolic pump, it always has an accumulation lake. So the narrative is new coins, basically. Doesn't matter what it is. But the new coins are the ones that the cabal wants to send the hardest, especially when they're listed on perpetual futures, because they pump it, they put negative funding, they entice everyone short this rally. It's going to fail. They pump it, and then they'll short on the way down too. So you basically want to ride on the whale's coattails or the cabal's coattails, and you can do that with the new coins only. So if anyone has any other interesting new coins that they like to share, in case I'm not aware of them, drop them in the live chat and we can take a look at them here together. But interesting here, James. Good shout on Zora. We can analyze it here live, but you know, I would not recommend to jump into a position on this thing right now. Because it just went on a 1,000% rally in the last 2 weeks. But just to further illustrate my point, right? That negative funding rate, that's the main part of the strategy, right? If you look at SPK, look how negative that funding rate was. Fueled the entire rally up. That's what you got to look for. I should make a video about this, but you guys are seeing it live. New coins that have been through a long accumulation, and once they start to show negative funding, just long the shit out of it. That's basically all it comes down to. And that's the strategy, folks. Shout out to Glasshopper77. He says, am I bullish on Talbot? Nah, so Talbot, I have Maxi open. Somebody, shout out Armzilla. He commented this one on my AI video from earlier in the day. Another Tau subnet that is launching an ERC20 token with a 5.5 tax. And they also say access every AI tools in one place. Like, read that sentence. Access every AI tools in one place. You guys see what's wrong here? It should be access every AI tool in one place. Is the team that incompetent where they can't get their banner right? They literally paid hundreds of dollars or whatever to post this on Deck Screener. And they can't even put proper grammar. And it's a Tau subnet. Why are they launching an ERC20 token? Ask yourself. It's a cash grab. Anyway, Taubot. Look, Taubot is... no, I'm not bullish on Taubot. I'm not a fan of the subnets that have an ERC20 token and an actual Tau subnet token. I know there's been big people that have supported this project, but I'm not going to change my tune. Not really bullish on this. See if it can flip resistance if you are bullish, because as of right now, it just rejected. Just rejected another SFP swing failure pattern. So ran back up to the highs SFP. I mean, it looks like most altcoins right now. Pumped really hard. You got to give it that, but 500% move. Nah, definitely not on my priority list. YouTuber GoKill, do you know about QTC on Safe Trade? No, I don't. CRO is mooning. Let me see. Nah. I mean, very strong performance, don't get me wrong. Yeah, just cleared that high in cents. Anyways. QTC on Safe Trade? No, I don't know that one. When will microcaps move on ETH? Again, microcaps only really pump hard when others' dominance is above like 10% or so. Right towards the latter stages of a bullish phase. So yeah, the micro caps like that likely, as others' dominance goes up, we see the micro caps start to pop off like popcorn all at random times. Usually narrative related. Shout out to Crypto Mike. We also have Sergio. What's going on, Sergio? Says this bull market is extremely weak. I agree. I don't see most altcoins reaching 2024 March highs. Most won't, I agree. Let's see. Shout out to Mitchell. My man Connor, thank you for everything you do. No problem, man. Cubic and Wild are my picks. Thanks to you. When are you thinking of starting to cash in profits? When USDT dominance comes into 3.8% again, and then 3.3% is the main profit taking level. That's USDT dominance. Do I know Base Pro Shops? No, I don't know that one. And Rio, let's take a look at the Rio chart here together on the live stream. So Rio's not looking too bad compared to some of these other ones. Now, again, just look at what's occurring. Right, we have resistance, and we were able to break resistance. We don't want to end up losing 31 cents again and rolling back over into this bottom range it's been in. This big bottom range it's been in. Okay. So we want to hold higher ground, just like CRO did, right? CRO on this breakout, look at it here. Oh, whoops. Like, what did it do? It cleared resistance, back tested it, and pumped, right? So if we're bullish, we want to see something like that play out on Rio. I mean, this is a low market cap real world asset coin. It's not crypto.com. So will it have the buying power to hold this? We'll find out. But the idea is to see it hold support, build its base, and continue to push up after rejecting from the daily 200 EMA. ARC, yes. So ARC is in the AI agent narrative for sure. But you're saying ARC fund, not AI rig, right? Is that the rig one? What's going on? Arc.fun. I'm going to assume you're talking about Arc rig complex, man. So there's not much to analyze here. This is a long range, long bottom accumulation that isn't showing much signs of life right now. So unless you know something, like some kind of insider information, I have no idea why anyone would want to buy this. So that's my opinion on ARC on Sol. And Cardano. ADA, as some folks like to call it, ADA. So the main level to hold that I see right here on Cardano is 70 cents. All right, that's the daily 200 EMA, as well as this support resistance flip level. So as long as Cardano is above 70, you know, that's great. If it pulls back to 70, that's where you want to be a buyer currently. All right, you can probably put limit orders here, and if they get filled, you might catch a bottom. Not financial advice. But man, this looks good on the daily. All right, closed above the swing high from May. Pull back now. I don't really have levels on ADA. We got one now, don't we? We got one now, folks. We got one now. It's a 7-day breaker. Where did I just tell you to buy before I even knew this was here? 70 cents. That's my analysis on Cardano. If you want to buy the coin, buy it at 70. Let's keep it simple for the folks watching, guys. We're not going to complicate anything here. Let's just keep it simple. 70 cents is the level to buy if you get it. So Doge, we already looked at Doge earlier, bait. We already took a look at Doge. Again, it has to clear 24 to go higher. This red box we have here on the screen, this one. Okay, it has to clear that. Now to the downside, big support over here at 20.5 cents. As well as 20, like this pocket. I don't have a level here, but I'm just looking and seeing the support. Just call it support. But that's like 21.5 down to 20.5 on Doge. But yeah, right now, if you didn't, so we had the 10-hour breaker block here. The entry was there on Thursday. Now it doesn't really make much sense to buy in the middle of this range. So it's a no trade zone right now, basically. And based Brett. Okay, so I wasn't even aware that Brett came into a level we've had. Okay, we had a 1-day partial here. And that once again acted as a bottom, as it did over here earlier in July. But this one produced a 12.5% bounce on Brett. So again, here doesn't make sense to do anything. Right? If you took a long stop to break even, that's all trades from Thursday or Friday when you entered. So as of right now on based Brett, it's a 12-hour. Let's see the daily. So the 12-hour has something of interest. If we were to go lower, make sure we label that so we know for later on and we're not confused on what time frame we got that. Let's pull the fib. Is it the golden pocket? Drum roll, please. From the low, it's not. From this low, it is. Okay, so from the overall low on June 15th, it is not. But from this low on July 2nd, it's directly in the GP. It's close enough where you have to like consider it. Where's the 50? Nah, we're not getting it perfectly. But that's still an interesting spot. 4.8 cents on Brett. Other than that, I mean, look, on the daily time frame, you closed above the swing high. Or you closed above the swing high. The issue that I have is like this breaker on the 1 day here already got used. It is providing a bounce. But if this were to fail and it needs liquidity, it would likely come down to 4.8, which is what, 15, 16%. So, which is why I'm saying don't buy it here. You can either buy on strength on a breakout or buy in liquidity for the breakout. But here, it's like hoping and praying, so it doesn't make sense. And then Ponky, I haven't looked at Ponky in a hot minute, as the kids say nowadays. I mean, I said that when I was a kid. I'm not that old, but I'm pushing 30 now, so I mean, you got to start calling me Yunk out here. It's crazy. Call me Yunk. Pushing 30, man. Life's crazy. Anyways, not much happening here on Ponky. It's not at all showing any strength, right? This is the weekly bottoming range that it's in, and it hasn't even made a move or an attempt to break out of the range. So it might be a bit concerning for now, being that it hasn't even attempted to break this range. Looking at the range, so it's in the bottom half of it. I'd say like I don't really have much to say about Ponky. Like if you like this coin and you want to hold it spot, okay, but it could drop to the bottom of the range, which is a move of 40%, 30%. So nothing really positive to say right now about Ponky because the chart isn't really showing much of anything, right? This trend just broke here on the daily. So it's going to have to reclaim the middle of the range if it's going to do anything. Let's see. Green Hornet is asking about COQ. So again, weekly range. A lot of these meme coins are in similar boats. Take that low there. All right, so we have a clear resistance to break here on COQ. All right, just look to the left. Support many times. Resistance this whole time. This is a weekly chart, so this level is really big. You can see we tested it here on the weekly. It failed to break today. Today it tested. So let's see what's cooking. This thing's moving right now. So this is the 23-hour breaker or hidden order block, whatever you want to call it. That was just left behind. This looks like a logical place to look for. You can scalp this. 22. I mean, more of the same per se. They're starting to get bigger as I lower the time frame. All right, 20-hour. Look at the 20-hour. I'll take the 20-hour like this. And daily has it there. Yeah, it's in the golden P. It's in that golden pocket. The golden pocket. Pocket? Yeah, I mean, if you want a long COQ, this is where to do so. Stop loss placement. Let's talk about that. How would you play it? Like so. Still pretty wide. This is 12%, but this is a crazy meme coin, so it's going to be volatile like that. But, you know, here's the thing, guys. Same thing goes with the Dino altcoins. Like, when they break their weekly ranges, there's reason for them to go on a really big rally. The question is, when is it going to break the weekly range? Now, this is worth a try if you want to long this to break the range. But yeah, that's a good one there, Green Hornet. Interesting chart we got going on there on COQ. We have a super chat. My man Angel. Sorry I missed this super chat. Let's see. He says, good morning. Do you know anything about Terra Luna? Is that sarcastic? Yeah, I know a lot about Terra Luna. What do you want to know about it? What do you want to know, my friend? I do know that some people are calling for this to pump as the grand finale of the cycle. Right? There's a few theses of those floating around. Right? When Luna and FTX token pump, it's the end of everything. And it hasn't pumped yet. So looking here on the weekly chart, we've seen this pattern a dozen times already this stream, just a weekly range. And again, the idea is for it to break out of the weekly range and put in a significant rally. But yeah, I've seen that shared before where like Luna is going to be like the grand finale of this clown show crypto market. They're going to pump this and it's going to be the end of the cycle. That would be a very entertaining outcome. As our friend Elon Musk likes to say, the entertaining outcome is the most likely. So that's, and then, yeah, I know a lot about Terra Luna. I know a lot about the coin. But Angel, I do appreciate that super chat, man. Here's Aerodrome. It's looking a little overheated right now, especially breaking this daily trend. Let's see. All right, so I like this daily demand zone that I put on the chart at 78. Also, you have the daily 200 EMA in there. So for Aerodrome, I would look for a retest of support personally, unless it can. See, many coins are in similar spots. Many coins are in similar spots, right? So Aero. Yeah, I mean, look, trendline break. It needs to quickly show some bullishness, like many altcoins do right now, right? We put in the low on Thursday, Friday. We pump back up. Now we're just compressing in a range throughout the weekend on many altcoins. If they cannot like break out here and reclaim this market structure that they lost earlier in the week, it might get a little ugly, which is why I'm saying don't buy anything now. The time to buy anything was on Thursday. Right now it looks, it's just like not ideal to do anything here. It's a no trade zone. So yeah, I would be somewhat ready for a move to 78 cents. But yeah, that is Aerodrome. Let's see, treble. And Glaucus SR5 says Treb on deck screener shows 40 out of 45 out of 100. Why should we not be concerned? I mean, you can be whatever you want to be, man. I'm not concerned about it because I'm very aware that this is legitimate. So it looks like, let's see, we just got some wicks. What the heck happened here? Looks like something happened, but anyways, immediately got bought back up. But anyways, nothing really to report on here on the chart. Still slowly grinding off of support. Still a micro cap, 2 million market cap. So the issue of the token sniffer, real quick, likely comes from the fact that on base scan, or even right here on, we can see it on deck screener, that the top holders, are holding a significant percent of the supply. But look at the little note. These are all contracts. I mean, I've explained this before in a live stream, but I'll do it again because I'm getting asked about it. So if you go to the holders, you can see the first top 7 holders are all contracts. These aren't actual holders, okay? So these tokens are not tradable, basically. They are not tradable. Is Token Sniffer picking that up? Let's see what it's saying. I haven't even looked, or I haven't looked in a while, I should say. Ownership not renounced. Okay, so I mean, the guy does a Twitter Spaces. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not going to defend this project. Be concerned if you want to be concerned. I'm not. Okay, I'm bullish. Yeah, if this was a random anon meme coin, I would be concerned about this. But I mean, listen, it's not. I've been speaking to the team since March of 2024. They haven't failed anybody. They've delivered on everything they've said they would. And they will continue to do so, in my opinion. So, hey, be concerned if you want to be concerned, but in my opinion, there's literally nothing to be concerned about. In terms of the chart, like most base coins at the moment, it is not really doing much. And let's see, we got a $9.99 super chat from Fiat Hater. He says, just to say, thanks for your consistent live feeds for the lads, brother. Hey, man, that's why I do it, right? For comments like that, I appreciate that $10 super chat, man. Thank you for your support. And, yeah, we'll keep showing up to the lives. Anyways, we've been live for an hour. I'm going to wrap this bad boy up right now, all right? So I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Smash up the like button, and I'll see you tomorrow. We'll see what's going to happen here, right? We went over extensively the scenarios at play, and we made it very clear on how to position. All right, nothing should be unclear right now. Keep an eye on USDT dominance. Keep an eye on that. Most important thing right now, as well as Bitcoin, of course. But if you're already positioned from earlier in the week on the lows from Thursday, great. If not, it's really not the best time to be jumping into anything new currently, all right? So I hope it's all clear. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your weekend. Connor from Crypto Empire.